Almost the entire suite of forecast models coming into agreement. Snow is coming to Iowa and much of the upper Midwest this weekend. The question now is the timing and how much of it will stick. Hi everyone, and thanks for joining us on the channel once again. Last night we talked about a little bit of discrepancy in the models as it was beginning to come into some of the shorter and mid-range forecast models as to what to expect on Saturday. Today we're getting a little bit more agreement between the models, and that spells snow for a good portion of Iowa. Let's take a look at the latest model runs coming in. This is from the North American model, or the NAM. And as we take a look at this, you're going to see as we move it forward into Saturday, you're going to see this low pressure system develop to our west. This is very early overnight Friday into Saturday. And as you see it strengthen a bit as it tracks across Iowa, you're going to see that snow band develop on the northwest side of the low pressure center. And that quick switch over from rain to snow could be rather heavy. Now, right now, the forecast models are pitting this as a pretty moisture-filled event. However, because of the temperatures, right now it appears that, there's kind of that golden rule that on average, snow falls at a rate of about 10 inches per inch of water precipitation. That ratio is going to be much lower this time, at least according to the models. In fact, there we go. In fact, as we take a look at the winter weather models here, we're going to take a look at the snow ratio. This is the rate of that snowfall, and you can see kind of a little bit of a donut hole here. Now that is showing a ratio of about 6-to-1 instead of 10-to-1 in some of the heavier areas. This blue you see here is anywhere from 3 to 4-to-1 ratio. Now again, generally 10-to-1, and in very cold conditions you get like what you see up here, 10 to 15 to 20-to-1 ratios. That is not going to be the case here, as we're going to have a lot of moisture fall, and a lot of it is going to be a very heavy wet snow. Now the good news with that is that means that the wind concerns for blowing snow and drifting snow may not be as significant as we were once concerned about. That's the good news. The next question is going to be how much is actually going to fall. So if we take a look at the total snowfall expected, you can see here not a whole lot. In fact, right now we're kind of looking at about 1 to maybe isolated pockets of 4 inches of snow. Now that could be enough, especially because this is the first snow of the year, that the National Weather Service offices in portions of the upper Midwest, especially here in Iowa, may decide to issue a winter weather advisory for parts affected by this on the northern half, essentially Des Moines on north, kind of the northern, I don't want to say 2/3, but close to it. They could see some pockets of moderate snowfall. And the other concern is going to be travel, because although it may not be blowing around as much because of the wet nature of the snow, the snowfall rates are going to be rather high, and that could reduce visibility. And of course, being the first snow, temperatures are going to be crashing. All that wet surface will become a little bit icy as well. We could see some issues on area roadways because of that. So I wouldn't be surprised if, with all of those parameters in place, that the National Weather Service doesn't decide to perhaps issue an advisory perhaps sometime tomorrow to go into effect Saturday morning and last through the evening hours. Of course, this is also going to impact weekend events. This is also going to impact the big game in Iowa City. They're kind of on that cutoff between rain and snow. Either way, if it's just rain in Iowa City during the game, it's going to be a very cold rain in Iowa City. So if you're going to the game, you're one of the 70-some thousand people going to that game, be prepared. It's going to be a very cold and a very wet day. Again, that's the North American model. I want to take a look at another one now here. This is the GFS, which has been kind of our favorite one in this storm system, because it actually has been kind of hitting the money, so to speak. The model is still coming in at this hour when we're recording this, so unfortunately I don't have much more than that. It's beginning to scale back the snow totals that it was pinning on us earlier. This is only showing maybe a trace to at most pockets of 2 inches or so of snow. That's very likely too. Again, this is going to be a very heavy, wet snow. If we take a look at the ratios that it's looking at, this is after the cold air comes in. This is when the snow is actually going to be falling. and you're going to see those ratios very, very low, at best maybe 5 to 1. So even if it's heavy precipitation, it's really only going to drop a little bit of snow. And then the cold air comes in, but this is when there is no snow falling. So that's not really a concern. Now, again, we mentioned that cold air coming in. Let's take a look at that right now. This is what's behind that snow. This is at 6 a.m. Sunday morning. You see deep into the lower to mid-20s here in Iowa, not getting a whole lot warmer throughout the day, perhaps maybe mid-30s for highs. So a pretty frigid day, but you see as that snow comes in on Saturday, you see the cold air bombing in behind it. So a lot of the snow also may not stick because it may start falling at 36, 37 degrees, and then the colder air comes in right behind it. So not a lot of it is expected to stick, but as it's falling and immediately after it's falling, especially with this crashing of temperatures causing refreezing, we could see some travel problems, especially Saturday afternoon and evening across portions of Iowa. So that's one of our significant concerns right now. Now, again, with those warmer conditions on the surface, especially on pavement, and a lot of the snow falling before we go below freezing, we're not expecting a lot of it to stick. This is the snow depth estimated by one of our ensemble models, our short-range models, and it puts snow depth across Iowa at 1 inch at best, if not less. Now, that may, if it does stick around, it'll stick around for a day or so, but eventually we're going to be warming back up, and that will wipe out that snow that we see across the area. We're going to go back now to our North American model, and we're going to take a closer look at what to expect after this. And there's some good news on that front if you're not a fan of the snow, as I'm sure many of you are not. As we take a look at what we're going to be expecting over the next few days, there you see the winds leading up to the storm and after it. And then we're going to get a bubble. After this last cold shot early next week, we're going to get a bubble developing as the atmospheric river and all the activity that comes with it guts to our north, and then high pressure sets up here to our west. That will be bringing in warm air once again for this time of year, so some good news there. If we take a look at the temperatures further out, we're going to go ahead and go back to the GFS so we can go a little further out for you. Right now, after the storm system, as we said, mid-30s, we're going to have to go back a model run here because this one is still coming in. But after the weekend, as we head back, here you see Monday, we get back up into the 30s and 40s. Tuesday, we really warm back up to the 50s and 60s, maybe even close to 70 over by the Omaha area. And then that warm air is going to stick around for much of the week as the weather systems stay to our north. Look at that, almost 80 degrees possible in Omaha on Friday next week, on November 14th. And the long-range models do show another cold shot of air coming perhaps around the 17th. Whether that brings any snow with it, we'll have to see. That's way too far out to make any guesses on that. But we do see some gradual pattern shifting, which is common for this time of year. We've been well above normal, it seems, for much of the fall. So it's not surprising to see that we may get some more seasonal air making its way back into the forecast over the next couple of weeks. But for now, the primary concern is going to be that snow threat on Saturday, again, possibly beginning in the morning in northwest Iowa and making its way across the state throughout the day. Temperature as well as ground conditions are going to play a pivotal role in the switch over to snow and how many impacts it causes. But because it reduced visibility, potentially slick conditions, and more problems even after the snow as things really begin to freeze hard Saturday evening, there could be some travel problems with the potential of anywhere from a trace to 4 inches of snow, depending on how this all shakes out. Again, those moisture ratios are going to play a critical role in that. If we do see a potential of 3+ inches, we could see, especially because this is the first storm of the year or of the season, we could see the National Weather Service in places opt to go ahead and issue a winter weather advisory. I don't think it will be anything more than that. But because it's a weekend, because there's travel, they may opt to try and give people a heads up before they head out over the weekend. Again, we're going to keep an eye on this tonight. We'll have another update for you tomorrow morning. And then Saturday, as things play out, we will try to bring you some live coverage here as well on the channel. That'll do it for now. Thanks for joining us. As always, like and subscribe to the channel. And I hope you join us here for an update tomorrow morning. Thanks for watching.